This week for the project, I was trying to work on the backup battery management for our project. So the main goal that we want to have right now is that if our power to our components, which is our microcontroller and everything else, if that were to ever go out from our household power, we wanted to have a backup battery to power everything. Right now we currently have a 11.1 lithium ion battery with 3 cells. It is going through the voltage regulator that steps it down to 5 volts. We also have a bistable relay. What this does is that it switches on over when our signal goes to 0. So here is a written circuit of how it looks. We have the 5 volts coming from our household power. If at any point it goes out, the backup battery will be switched in and it'll go through the relay and it'll start powering the components instead. What I was trying to do is that during the time that the relay switches, there will be no power currently going to the components. So I wanted to have some capacitors in parallel to be able to power the Teensy. That way it would never turn off. However, when testing, it didn't seem to work out. The amount of capacitors that I had here ended up being about 2,000 microfarads, and I needed to have it a little bit more. So right now I have the power. It is controlling the microcontroller, and it's also powering our Bluetooth. Here is our phone that is taking in the values. However, if I were to disconnect the power, there's a small clicking sound, and it stopped recording values. That is because for a momentary time, the Teensy stopped getting power, and there was no more. So currently we're working on a way to fix this problem. We're trying to add more capacitance. We had looked online at different values of capacitors of what we need, and the equation that we would need would be right here, where current is about 50 milliamps. We would only need it 1 second, and our delta V is looking at 1.3 volts. So instead of 30,000 microfarads, we would need something around 25,000 microfarads. So that's what we're looking into buying, so that way our system would work correctly.
So this week I continued my work with RTC, but I've had no luck so far making it work with the Teensy. And primarily the main reason why it's not working is because of the libraries that I'm using. At first I was using a library that's the first library I used was like a DC1307 library, but then working more with it, I found out it was only for Arduino boards and not the Teensy 3.1. And then I keep continuing my research, and then I found another library which was like the same name as like DS1307 RTC, and that one was compatible with the Teensy. But the only problem, when I used that library, I kept getting an error where it would tell me a variable was not defined, like wire-to-wire communication. But the only problem with that is when I would go to the library and try to understand what was going on with the library, I wasn't able to find anything. And when I tried looking for the error, I couldn't find the error anywhere in the code. So then, to help me, at least to help try to have more progress in our project, I decided to buy a Arduino Micro to help me work with the RTC. The reason I chose the Arduino Micro is because the libraries that I originally had were meant for Arduino, so I just decided to go with one. And then when I tried working with it, the first time I programmed the RTC and Arduino together, it worked fine. But then, for some reason, I am having trouble connecting just to the Arduino Micro by itself. For some reason, when I connect the Arduino board to my computer, it does not connect. It just gives me an error where a USB modem is being used. But hopefully, I'll keep working on this, making my research, and hopefully make some progress by next week.